Good evening, everyone. Welcome in to Vols Society Live on this Wednesday night. My name is David Morrison from the Vols Society Network, and also your lead analyst here on Vols Society. Thank you for tuning in so far. Whether you're watching us on Facebook.com/UT Vols Society, YouTube.com/Vols Society, or on Twitter at Society Vol. We thank you for joining us in. If you have any questions or comments, chat room is open all across our social media platforms. Just leave a comment, your questions, and like I said, that you're a part of the show too. Also, don't forget to share out the video. Bring as many Vol fans in here tonight. I got a lot to talk about tonight. It's been a while since we've last chatted on here. We're going to recap Tennessee basketball, including last night's game against Texas A&M, and this morning on our Vol Society Facebook page, we had a trend going on, or a post made by Brad about what's going on with Tennessee men's basketball, and I'll throw my 2 cents into it tonight. But we'll talk about that. Also, recap the Lady Vols. They got a big game coming up tomorrow night. Final home game of the season as they welcome in the number one team in the nation, South Carolina. We'll dive into them also. We'll also talk about Tennessee baseball as baseball's now in full swing as we come off the MLB Desert Invitational last weekend. We'll talk about that. And plus, Tennessee right now playing a 3-game series with Alabama A&M. Matter of fact, their second game just wrapped up, and I think Tennessee baseball is kind of getting back to the way they were last year, and that could be a good thing, and we'll recap that game tonight. Also, Tennessee softball coming back from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, playing in a tournament. We'll talk about them. We'll also talk about their upcoming tournament down in Tampa as they get ready to take on the likes of, obviously, South Florida, who's hosting the tournament, plus Michigan State. And then we'll wrap up the show talking some recruiting. It's been a long time since I've talked Tennessee recruiting, but the 2024 class is shaping up a little bit, although it's still kind of quiet from Tennessee's perspective. But I want to bring you some players, or introduce you some players in the 2024 class, and talk about where Tennessee's looking at them on their radar. But that's coming up later on. All right, let's talk about Tennessee basketball. Vols took a loss last night, 68-63. The Big Orange is now 20-8 on the season. Last night, Zakai Ziegler led the way with 14 points. Kalmah with 13 points. Vescovy and Ziegler tied with 14 points last night. This is this is kind of the frustrating part of coming to this portion of the season, because you want to get red hot right now, but it's just not coming to fruition. I mean, you could talk about injuries, not having decided Jordan James most of the season, and now you have this injury with Julian Phillips. He's missed his third straight game. But I go back to even when I went to that Auburn game, a couple weeks ago, I guess, and it just seems like you got a very inconsistent Tennessee basketball team. We know this team is going to put on great defensive performances every night, although 68 points is kind of a lot for a Rick Barnes team. But, you're going to put up valiant efforts defensively, but where's the offensive going to come, and who's that go-to scorer? I mean, one thing about this Tennessee basketball team, and even going back to after Grant Williams and Schofield and Bone left, yeah, you've got a lot of players that could contribute any given night, but the problem is, and it's continuing on now, is you don't really have that go-to guy every night that can carry this team on the back. Yeah, you could probably say Vescovy's the closest, and indeed, he can bring it whenever he wants to, but, at times, Vescovy kind of disappears in games. Ziegler, at nights he looks really hot, but he kind of floats in the back, disappears. Kamwa, even James, which I guess I can kind of give James a little bit of a pass with the injuries. But it's just that's what really surprises me. It's just there's really nobody on this team that wants to just carry this team on his back. Like I said, maybe Vescovy, but like even Vescovy at times, I just don't fully trust. Um, but just and even kind of the offensive numbers are just really staggering too. I mean, once again, Tennessee last night 9 for 31 from 3-point land, 29%. Uh, you got to nail a few more than just nine. I mean, they shot the ball better. Uh, a little as far as 2 points go, 40%, 40% field goal percent shooting. That's better, but those 3 pointers are a miss. And kind of looking at the free throw numbers last night, 10 for 14, a little bit better last night. So, like I said, Tennessee's hanging in there, and towards the end against Texas A&M, they were right there, almost got that steal to had to take the lead, but Texas A&M, got it back. But once again, just a missed opportunity to pick up another big win. And like I said, Tennessee's still going to be a lock for the NCAA tournament. But like I said last time I was on here, this team to me, I just don't know if they can make it past the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. It just depends on who they fall into, I guess, in that second round. But this team's going to have to really improve. But and I'll give credit to Texas A&M. This is a team that is playing their way into the NCAA tournament. Just missed out on the tournament last year, and I clearly think they are a lock to make it this year. Last night they had a couple guys 20 points. Taylor had 25. Marble had 21. So Buzz Williams has done a good job of really making this team better. But looking at it from a Tennessee fan's perspective, it's just another missed opportunity. And even going back to the back-to-back buzzer beater shots with Vanderbilt and Missouri, and man, you just wish you had those wins back. And I just think this Tennessee team is going to look back thinking, man, if we could have had those two wins back, could have beat Colorado back in November, we could have been a little bit better shape and probably breathe a little bit better. And and Colorado and Vanderbilt are two quad two losses, and that's not good for an NCAA tournament resume. I mean, you have your quad one wins and losses, and then your quad twos. And like I said, Colorado and Vanderbilt's not had the best season ever, and that's really going to stick out. Now, I wasn't expecting Tennessee right now to be a number one seed, but if you're looking at a top seed in the tournament, to me, this Tennessee team looks like a 4, maybe a 5. And, compared to a month ago where we were a number one seed, it's just does not look like it's heading in the right direction, obviously. And I love Rick Barnes to death. And I think Rick Barnes is in for the long haul. But, this really concerns me as far as where this future is going to go. He can recruit. Obviously, Rick Barnes can recruit. He can develop players. We see a lot of players currently in the league right now. I just saw Kennedy Chandler, I think probably a week ago, playing for Memphis down in the G League. He had an injury and doing recovery. But, you see the Tennessee influence and the Rick Barnes influence all across, not only in the NBA, but even in college ball with some of his assistants getting head coaching jobs. He has contributed a lot. But, the thing that really concerns me is he ever going to win the big one? And, yes, he's won an SEC tournament. And, yeah, he's won a regular season tournament. But I just don't know. I just think what you see with Rick Barnes is what you get. This is kind of the risk and the reward here. So, hopefully this team can get hot going into March. Like I said, we're 7 days away, or 6 days away. Beg your pardon. I guess it would be 7. I'm trying to remember if this ain't leap year. We're getting close to the end of February. What I'm trying to say, and going into March. Tennessee does have 3 games remaining on their schedule. You get South Carolina at home on Saturday. I do feel confident in that. South Carolina's at the bottom of the league. They should take care of business at home. And then you get Arkansas at home for Senior Day coming up either next Tuesday or next Wednesday, and then you got to go to Auburn in the first Saturday in March. Uh, that game really I'm concerned about because of what happened the last time we played, and I know Auburn wants some revenge. Probably should have won that game when we played them. So expect a lot of uh, trickery coming into that game. We'll see what happens coming up. But yeah, that's kind of a look right now. As far as bracketology goes for the Tennessee men's basketball team, uh, go ahead and pull it up here. Like I said, Joe Lenardi hadn't updated since I think Tuesday morning, so he still had us as a number 3 seed. I think we're going to be dropping in his next poll to 4. Um, and who knows? Like even he still had us going to Greensboro, which is close to us. May get a home court advantage somewhat, but now drop it to a 4. Who knows? We could be going anywhere else in the country, maybe taking on a team that has a better uh, home court advantage, quote unquote, even though it is a neutral site game. But we'll see what happens. Still have faith and trust in them, but it is definitely eye opening what's going on. Speaking of eye opening, the Lady Vols. Lady Vols getting ready to take on South Carolina tomorrow night. Big home game, undefeated South Carolina. Trying to find their projection here. Uh, there they are. Okay. Like I said, Lady Vols taking on South Carolina. Like I said, South Carolina, the juggernaut in women's basketball. Don Staley's done a fantastic job for them. They've basically defeated everybody in women's basketball in the regular season. They've took on the likes of I think Stanford. I know they played LSU, obviously being in conference play. They took down UConn. Basically, this NCAA women's tournament in general is going to be South Carolina versus the field. In the men's side, it's you got probably 10 or 12 teams that can win it. Well, women's side is the complete opposite. But as far as the Lady Vols go, I hope they can hang in there with South Carolina tomorrow night. Although this is definitely the toughest team we faced, and like I said, this Lady Vols team has not pulled out a big marquee season win so far this season. It seems like normally we kind of get that with Kelly Harper, but we just really haven't got that this year. We've got some good wins, some solid wins, but not that where we can kind of rest our laurels on. And obviously a win tomorrow night will definitely seal it, but we'll see. As far as the bracketology goes for the Lady Vols, they got them as a 6 seed playing in the South Bend Regional, and they would play Columbia. That's just according to ESPN. And if we win that, we'll take on the winner of like Notre Dame and Drexel. So, Lady Vols season coming towards an end. And like I said, I voiced my concern before with Kelly Harper. It feels like this team has way too much talent to be with the record they have right now. I really like this Lady Vols team. I like Rakia Jackson. I like Jordan Horston. I like Tess Darby. Key being out hurts us, but I think this team should have been a lot better than where they are right now. This is not a number 6 team or number 6 seed team in the NCAA tournament. This team should be a lot higher than what their record entails, and that's why I'm once again kind of concerned for Kelly Harper in the future of this Lady Vols program. But crazier things have happened. Good luck to the Lady Vols tomorrow night as South Carolina comes in, and then off to Greenville, South Carolina for the SEC tournament, and then on to the NCAA tournament. All right, let's talk about Tennessee baseball. All right, so the Tennessee baseball team, go ahead and pull their stats up for right now. Tennessee baseball played in the MLB Desert Invitational in the Phoenix area, Phoenix, Glendale, down in that area over the weekend. They opened the season against the Arizona Wildcats. Took a loss in that one. Chase Dolander was on the mound. And got to an early jam, and the Vols just can never recover from it. I did catch some of that Friday night game. It was kind of a late game too, and it just felt like that Dolander just had some nerves in him Friday night. You had a lot of scouts in attendance. I think they're playing at a minor league park or one of the spring training parks down in the desert, and just felt like there was just some nerves and just like I said, just and the team just probably was a little too amped up, maybe too nervous in that first game. And then going into Saturday, they took on Grand Canyon. Uh, Another, just a team that a very team that nobody's talking about in college baseball in Grand Canyon. They got a couple of players that's in, uh, a top 100 draft pick on this Grand Canyon team, and Tennessee just kind of underestimated them on Saturday and took the loss there. But then they finally got their first win on Sunday, defeating San Diego, and then the Vols came back home starting yesterday against Alabama A&M. Vols picked up the win 10-0, and then probably an hour ago they played their second game against Texas A&M, Alabama A&M, and won 23-1. They scored a program record 15 runs in the fifth inning. So kind of some nerves I had about this NC baseball team about offensive power. It seems like it kind of went away. Now, granted, Alabama A&M probably not much of a threat, but good to at least build some confidence up. Kind of looking at some numbers so far. Now, this is before they calculated today's game against Alabama A&M, so this is still stats going into today's game. But Blake Burke off to a great start, hitting the ball, hitting 462 on the year. Christian Moore looking good, hitting 385. Cal Stark, and I think a name that you're probably going to be hearing throughout this baseball season, hitting 364. Jared Dickey, a veteran on this team, hitting 313. Alabama transfer Zane Denton doing a good job, hitting 273 on the year. And Kyle Booker, Austin, Jace Love. I mean, these are players you're going to be hearing throughout this baseball season. Like I said, still trying to get the feet underneath them and really get going. Charlie Taylor, our catcher. I heard he had a big day today. I hadn't checked out today's game today, but I saw the picture of him having the daddy hat and the coat and everything. So good to see that from him. Looking at home runs on the year, Blake Burke already with a couple of home runs, along with Christian Moore, Cal Stark. Jared Dickey's got a home run on the year. RBIs. Blake Burke's pretty much just leading the way as far as hitting goes, with 4 RBIs on the year. And then looking at the pitching, Drew Beam had a great game on Sunday. Picked up the win. And then nobody's picked up a save so far, and obviously definitely not today with today's beatdown. But this Tennessee baseball team is right now clicking. They wrap up their series with Alabama A&M, I believe, tomorrow, and then the Dayton Flyers come in to Lindsey Nelson Stadium beginning Friday through Sunday. I believe they're all day games, and they're going to be on the SEC Network Plus. So if you have the ESPN Plus app on your TV or your phone or whatever, you can catch that. I think the only thing they require is, top up, you have to sign in and top up your location and your cable package or whoever you get your TV from, and then you can catch all the Tennessee baseball action. Like I said, Tennessee baseball getting underway, looking very well so far. Like I said, off to a slow start with this number 2 team, but now it seems like they're getting going. And the other thing is kind of a controversial thing is Tennessee's missing Kansas transfer Maui Iwana. Now, this was one of the top players in the transfer portal for baseball. Announced he's committed to Tennessee and transferring from Kansas to Tennessee. And it's crazy in the days of transfer portal and players can just come straight in and start playing that we still have eligibility issues from the NCAA, which is just mind-boggling. And I'm sure it happens to other programs, but it definitely, I really notice it more with our program at the University of Tennessee, and it's just, it's just frustrating. Wish we can have him on the team. So Free Maui. I know Camden Sewell uh, tweeted out that, and I think posted something about it on his story. So yeah, love to get Maui on this team, and I think this team can really get clicking here. All right, softball, really quick. Uh, hadn't really talked about the Lady Vols much. I know they play, so we'll go ahead and kind of give a quick update through them. So they played in Clearwater, Florida, in the leadoff classic. Uh, got off very well, went undefeated in the leadoff classic. Had a couple of games got canceled due to weather, but kind of start at the beginning here. They defeated Howard 21-1, a great start. Ashley Rogers, our defending Vol Society Lady Vol of the Year, had a great game in that opener. And then they defeated Illinois on February the 10th as part of a doubleheader with Howard. They won 9-2. And then the weather happened. Their game with South Alabama and Texas got canceled. And then on Sunday they defeated Northwestern 6-0. Moving on to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, as they played in the College Challenge. They defeated Sacramento State on Thursday 11-0, and then shut out North Dakota State 8-0 on Friday. And then that Saturday, February the 18th, Lady Vols took their first loss of the year, losing to Cal State Fullerton 5-4. But then they rebounded nicely that night and defeated Liberty 5-1. So next up for the Lady Vols softball team, double header in the USF tournament down in Tampa as they take on Michigan State and the host team, the USF Bulls. That's on Friday, and then on Saturday morning they'll take on Clemson beginning around 11:30, and then they'll take on UIC Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday morning they'll take on UIC again. That's all in Tampa. And then the Lady Vols will have their home opener coming up on March the 3rd in the Tennessee Classic as they will welcome in Appalachian State, Jacksonville State, and Belmont for a weekend series, and that begins the first weekend in March. So good luck to the Lady Vols. Like I said, doing a great job so far. And like I said, they're 8-1 on the year, so continue to keep up with your numbers, and we'll be cheering you on. Swimming and diving, I want to jump into this. I forgot to mention this in the intro, but shout out to the Tennessee swimming and dive team in the SEC meets this weekend, championship meets. Tennessee swimming and diving team took home 26 medals this weekend, including an historic performance by Lady Vol swimmer and Irish, and I did not know this until this week, Irish Olympic swimmer Mona Masheri becomes the first Lady Vol to win back-to-back 100-meter breaststrokes gold medals. So congratulations to Mona. We posted that on our Vols Society fan Facebook page, and it got over 1,000 likes, and that really tickles us to death. The Lady Vols swimming and diving Twitter page has 8,000 followers, and we got 1,000 likes from that post from there. So that's kind of a little pat on the back for us. But shout out to this Tennessee swimming and diving team. Men's 400-meter relay team took home a gold medal down in College Station. So Lady Vols finished second in the swimming team final standings, and the men finished third. So shout out to the swimming and diving team. I always kind of enjoyed following the swimming and diving teams, and especially USA Swimming and Diving. It's kind of like I guess that's kind of my favorite Olympic sport, even though I'm not a great swimmer myself. But I always enjoy that, just kind of a personal preference for me. But yeah, shout out to them. All right, so talked about them. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into football to kind of wind down the evening a little bit. Now, this one I wanted to spend a lot of time on, and I know that's kind of peak of a lot of y'all here. All right, so Tennessee football recruiting. So for those who don't know who we have on the 2024 roster so far, I'll go ahead real quickly and brief it over y'all. So right now, Josh Heupel in this Tennessee football team for 2024 has the following players. You got Jonathan Eccles, who committed on the 4th of July last year, a 4-star athlete from IG Academy in Franklin, Georgia. I think he's going to be playing probably in the defensive secondary once he gets to Knoxville, but right now he's committed to us. Although Colorado is really pushing for Jonathan Eccles to flip, and and I'm not surprised that Dion or Coach Prime is really trying to get some of these players that's already committed because, like I said, he's trying to build a program kind of like Coach Heupel did a couple of years ago. So hopefully Eccles can stay with us, and I think he can. Caleb Beasley, the number one player in the state of Tennessee, 6 foot, 180-pound cornerback from Lipscomb Academy in Nashville. Like I said, he's not going to go anywhere with us. So, I mean, he'll stay with Tennessee, but I mean, he's not going to jump ship or anything. But I'm excited to have Caleb Beasley on this team. I'm going to talk about him in just a minute. And then Carson Gentle from Macaulay School down in Chattanooga, defensive lineman, 6'4", 236, 3-star prospect on this team. So, and one thing about I've noticed with these kind of veering off just a slight second. One thing I've noticed about these state of Tennessee high school players, Chattanooga, Tennessee, they probably got the deepest roster I've seen as far as high school recruited talent in probably 20 years or so. There's a lot of great high school football players in the Chattanooga area that can be playing college football somewhere. Talk about Boo Carter in just a moment, but you got Boo Carter and you got Carson Gentle I mentioned and several others, and I'll kind of dive into them in just a moment. But shout out to the Chattanooga area. They've really got some good young talent down there, and a lot of them play for Baylor, obviously one of the top private schools in the state of Tennessee that has a lot of talent come out. But shout out to Chattanooga for that. So now the new player that joined us, Marcus Gorey Jr. I've been excited to talk about him since he made his commitment back on February the 18th. A 6'1", 170-pound athlete from Bradley Central High School in Cleveland, Tennessee, not far from me. He plays corner and safety for Bradley, and like I said, I'm a little more familiar with him just from where I'm at. I think when he comes to Tennessee, he'll probably play a safety, but like I said, he plays corner and safety. Seen his highlights, very fast, great awareness with the ball. He's got great size for him for 6'1", 170. I'm excited about. I actually get to see him at least one or two times this year where I'm at, have an opportunity to. Definitely get to see him one time. So I'm excited to see what he looks going into senior year in high school. Plus, obviously, when he comes to Tennessee, like I said, secondary is a big help for Tennessee, and it seems like Tennessee is really loading down as many players, a lot of corners, a lot of safeties, and a lot of athletes that can hopefully transition over to a secondary that got burned kind of the last couple of years, especially with the style of play that we end up running. Go ahead and look at some of the other top talents in the state of Tennessee and kind of who Tennessee may be looking at here. We'll start with Boo Carter. So I mentioned the Chattanooga connection. Boo Carter played at Chattanooga Christian High School last year. Has now transferred to Brainerd High School, not too far from Chat Central, or not Chat Central, Chat Christian. 5'10", 184 pounds. It seems like Tennessee and Colorado's the final two schools. I truly believe Boo's coming to Tennessee. Another kid I cannot wait to see him play live in the fall. I saw Boo last year during the Florida game when they had all those recruits, and like I said, I'm still trying to learn this 2024 class, but I remember there were some young kids that was teenage age, high school age, and they were like, oh, there's Boo Carter and there's Sammy Vaughn, and I'm just like, oh, hey, glad glad you're doing my work and knowing these players. So now I'm kind of getting a little familiar with them, but excited to see when Boo Carter went if and when he commits to us. I think it's going to be more than when. I mentioned Carson Gentle. Uh, Kid to keep an eye on the radar. Another Chattanooga connection again. Amari Jefferson, 6'1", 190-pound athlete. I think he plays wide receiver at Baylor. Tennessee and Georgia's in the running. I saw On3 had a crystal ball projection for Georgia for Amari Jefferson, but I would love to see Amari Jefferson come to Tennessee. I think he can fit very well either side of the ball at Tennessee, but we'll see what happens with him. And like I said, a lot of these are Tennessee connections, and kind of lock the state, if you will. Edwin Spillman, 6'1", 216-pound linebacker. His brother plays for us. Plays at Lipscomb Academy in Nashville. I think he's 100% committed to Tennessee. Every crystal ball projection says he's coming to him. That's also going to be huge, especially you look at the linebacker core right now with us, like with Aaron Beasley and a lot of young players going to be coming aboard. Like I said, this is going to be adding the depth and adding the future and adding a lot of high anticipation for this Tennessee football team going forward. Kind of look at some of the visits coming aboard. It's kind of quiet right now. You do have a visit coming up on March the 4th as Alex Foster, a 6'5", 250-pound edge rusher from Greenville, Mississippi, expected to visit Tennessee. And I think I heard today the number one tight end in the nation is projected to visit Tennessee fairly soon, too. Let's see, there's one on June 16th. And then on June 16th, so this is still a long ways away, Daniel Calhoun, one of the top offensive tackles in the nation, scheduled to make an official visit to Tennessee. Georgia and Alabama's right now in the front running for him, but maybe make a good impression and flip a commitment to Tennessee. But that's kind of some of the players that Tennessee's looking out for. I know, kind of looking back at some of the players from January that made those visits, seems like a lot of them not really committing. I think, the couple I can think of, Ryan Wingo from St. Louis, Missouri. He's a crystal ball projection to Tennessee. Him and Notre Dame are in the running. A 4-star wide receiver, 6'2", 198 pounds. Caleb Beasley made he already committed to us. Jordan Burns, linebacker, 6'2", 215 from Atlanta, Georgia. Tennessee and Georgia Tech in the running for him. Mentioned Boo Carter. I think he's a lock. On3 has Michigan also in the running to get him. I think it's coming down to Tennessee and Colorado. But I feel very confident Boo Carter from Brainerd High School is going to commit to us. Michael Welsh, running back, 5'9", 195 pounds from Baldwin High School in Georgia. It's coming down to Tennessee and South Carolina for him. I think Tennessee could be in a good running for him. Already mentioned Marcus Gorey Jr. from Bradley Central. Jesse Perry from Murfreesboro, 6'6", 275 pounds. It's down to him in Mississippi State. No stars length for him, but I do like the size for him. Big offensive tackle from Murfreesboro, and like I said, you get him in there and get, who knows, whoever else, maybe get a Daniel Calhoun in there, and I think that really seals up that linebacking core. But like I said, the 2024 class kind of shaping up right now. Like I said, we're going into spring ball. Coming up, the orange and white game, they announced it for April the 15th, and that will be in Neyland Stadium. This will be the first orange and white game in front of fans in a couple of years, so that's obviously nice to have fans back, and I know that's going to be a big-time environment on April the 15th with coming off a 10-win season and Orange Bowl champions and just a lot of hype with Josh Heupel, no pun intended, or maybe. And then Nico's debut coming up, so very excited about this Tennessee football team, and like I said, the recruiting is a big part of it. And like I said, as soon as we get any more commits announced or any updates, we'll try to bring it to you right here on Vols Society Live. That's going to kind of wrap it up for us tonight. Like I said, enjoy this weather, this 70-degree weather. I know I enjoyed it today. Did a little grilling out. So enjoy it this week. Got plenty of sports coming up this weekend as far as Tennessee goes. Basketball coming up Saturday, 6 o'clock tip-off against South Carolina. Lady Vols tomorrow night against South Carolina. One team's in first place, the other team's in last place. And I think you can kind of figure out who's in first and who's in last at this point. And then baseball's get their first weekend home series with Dayton coming up as we wrap up with Alabama A&M. Lady Vols softball team going down to Tampa to play in a tournament. And, still rocking and rolling as far as Tennessee Athletic goes. Make sure you follow us on our social media accounts, facebook.com/UT youtube.com/Vol Society, and on Twitter, follow us at Society Vol. That's going to, like I said, going to wrap it up for me. One quick shout out, the hat that I'm wearing, if you're probably wondering. This is my alma mater, Mittman County High School. I want to give a shout out to Coach Randy Casey and the Cherokee men's basketball team winning the District 5-4 basketball championship, their first region championship or district championship since 1992. They will be hosting the region tournament, so shout out to my alumni basketball team winning the district championship. I always mix district and region up. But anyways, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is they're champions. So congratulations to Coach Randy Casey and the Cherokees. Like I said, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you for tuning us on Vols Society Live. We'll check back with you in probably 14 days or so. Until next time, this is David Morrison saying, have a great night and go Vols. Make sure you catch the replay as soon as we get done with this broadcast and share it out to all Vol fans. Have a great day and go Vols.